I'm getting raw today, you guys, on Don't Waste the Chaos. I usually talk about things or topics inside of HR or inside of business, but today I'm talking about HR. I'm going to talk about my journey in HR in hopes that it's helpful to someone who's considering HR, someone who doesn't know the value of HR in their organization, doesn't know if they need HR in their organization, someone who's in HR and trying to decide if this is what they want, or someone who is trying to figure out if they want to get in this field in the first place, or maybe it's someone who's just wanting some relatability about HR. So let's jump in and talk about human resources today. So I took an assessment lately that told me I am not a typical HR person. The assessment, which was Predictive Index, showed I'm a stereotypical COO, Chief Operating Officer. And while I love that, and I mean, I really do, because I love being a COO, I've been on this lifelong journey that will likely never end to prove why HR people are really ops people. And without that ops component, HR folks will forever be viewed as a necessary evil and one most people don't value or understand. So why did I choose the field of HR nearly 20 years ago to be my life's work? And I know you'd probably like to hear some more clarity from me than this, but I felt pulled toward it. I was in an organization that had a beautiful culture in the healthcare industry. But I saw several areas where it could be improved. And I was young at the time, and I get it, but I already saw these areas where it could be improved. And I noticed that if you weren't in the HR department, you likely wouldn't be able to call those shots or make any improvement. So I applied for a job opening in human resources, and I was quickly told without HR experience, I would never be selected in this company, which, by the way, I get it, but they missed out. So I went on my quest to find any HR role so I could gain experience and return to this hospital so I could make this huge impact that I believed in. Now, if you follow me on LinkedIn or have ever reviewed my resume, you already know I never revisited that healthcare system. But I did land my first HR gig, which was in a distribution facility, and I've never looked back. Boy, has it been a windy, wild ride. From gun parts, ammunition, and shooting supply distribution to mortgage, to higher education, to insurance, to M&A, I ended up starting this consulting firm focused on HR and people operations called Salt and Light Advisors. And from the word go, my firm has been up and to the right. I have brought on an additional fractional COO, CHRO, an executive assistant, a social media manager, and I have fractional services with a fractional controller and an outsourced branding and web firm. This has all been since April of 2023, and I'm not expecting the growth to slow. So why is business so good? And I think it's a couple of reasons. The first one is I put in the work. I spent 20 years in small, medium, and large corporations ranging from 50 employees to 400,000 employees. I've learned, pushed, studied, got certifications, got licenses. I grew. I was challenged. I have been recruited over. I have been pushed out, and everything in between. I'm trying to say this with humility. I've won so many awards, but I've also been stabbed repeatedly in the back. I've stuck my neck out time and time again. I've stayed true to my beliefs, and I've been most concerned about living my life for God and not for others, even if that makes me have my motives and my intentions questioned daily. I've stayed the course when others have told me I'm not cut out to lead leaders. So if you're in HR already or considering stepping into HR, what are you in for, or what are you signing up for? I was just on a call today with an HR leader who candidly asked me, how long do you think I have in this organization? And just like me multiple times in the past, he was asked to fill a role because an organization was in decline. He was asked to come fix it or heal it. And once he came in, he did what I always do. He started shaking that snow globe. He started leaving a wake behind him. Others became uncomfortable, and the savior is now becoming the scapegoat. This is how it works, friends. I teared up when he asked me because while I wanted to tell him the truth, there was a more entry-level HR person on the call with us. Now, I knew the question wasn't an accident, and he wanted me to be honest in front of this entry-level HR person, so I told him. He was sitting on a ticking time bomb. You can look at my resume. I've only lasted 5 years and many times less at every single role I've been at. If you're the disruptor, you are going to disrupt even yourself. And here's what I said to them on the call. You get to choose the lane in HR you want to walk. You can choose the strategic path, which sets a direction and holds others accountable to that direction. You can choose data over emotion. You can push and you can pull. You give it your all, or you choose the more like employee reward and recognition path and always be viewed as a waste of space. And I know that's harsh, but that is how people talk about us, HR people. You know this. The fun conductors or the fun police, they're both available, but you have to pick. I picked a long time ago the HR pro I wanted to be. Both paths are hard. Both lead to burnout. But one, in my humble opinion, has a level of impact unmatchable in any other position or role in an organization. But you will be questioned and challenged every step of the way. HR is almost always viewed as soft, but if you don't have big, broad shoulders and thick skin, you will quickly burn out and wither away. So pick your passion and pick your poison. I picked both, and it's gotten me to where I'm at today. So if you'd like to follow my path, here are some insights I've learned along the way about the field of HR. Choosing a career in human resources can be driven by various motivations and interests. So here are several reasons why someone might want to choose a career in this field. Number one, they have a passion for helping others. They want to be involved in support and development and employee advocacy. HR pros often have a strong desire to help employees succeed, offering support, guidance, and developmental opportunities. If you're the type of person that always sees a better way, or you see the potential in a person and you want to help them get there, that's what I'm talking about. They serve as an advocate for employees, ensuring their concerns and needs are addressed. Number two reason, an interest in organizational development. They care about building culture and they care about having a strategic impact. HR pros play a crucial role in shaping and maintaining company culture, which can be rewarding for those interested in org development. They contribute to strategic planning of the organization, aligning HR initiatives with business goals. One of my very favorite parts. Number three, there's a variety of responsibilities. So lots of differentiation in the tasks you will be doing on any given day. You've got diverse functions and you've got a very dynamic environment. HR roles encompass a wide range of responsibilities like recruitment, training and development, employee relations, benefits administration, compliance, and that offers a huge variety in day-to-day tasks, especially if you're a generalist. The dynamic nature of HR work can be appealing to those who enjoy tackling different challenges and continuous learning. You may be onboarding a new hire the same day that you're firing somebody for sexual harassment. It is vast and really keeps you on your toes. Okay, fourth reason is career growth and opportunities. There's a ton of advancement potential and there's specialization options. HR offers significant opportunities for career advancement, from entry-level positions to senior executive roles. I have always said, and you can call me biased, but I have seen the inside of a lot of organizations over the last 20 years, and HR people, the good ones, the ops-focused HR people can lead in any department, and they will be usually the last one who will get you in legal trouble as a leader. And so you've got great advancement opportunities. If you're an organization and you've got an HR pro, I would be considering them for a leader of a team because they know how to lead people. They can learn the function, and they probably know more about the function than you probably realize if they've been recruiting and doing learning and development for that function. But you've also got the opportunity to specialize. So pros can specialize in areas such as talent acquisition, learning and development, compensation and benefits, employee relations. The list goes on and on. So you can stay wide or you can go deep and specialize in a certain area. And there's a ton of growth, whichever path you choose. Fifth reason is you love an impact on business success. You can help drive performance and you're involved in change management. So HR pros are key to driving employee performance and satisfaction, which directly impacts the success and growth of the organization. They play a pivotal role in managing organizational change, ensuring smooth transitions and fostering a resilient workforce. Now, if an HR department's weak in these areas, the wheels are going to fall off in an organization. You need someone strong at the helm who can do these things. But to me, that impact on business success has always been number one, my number one driver. I love to help drive performance, and I love being a part of change management. Sixth reason to get involved in HR: you have strong interpersonal skills. You're people oriented and you're good with conflict resolution. And I would just say, this is where I'm talking about. If you don't have broad shoulders, HR is not for you. There was a time when my HR role included handing out apples and bananas in every single department and popping popcorn. Okay, you don't have to have thick skin to do that. However, I would hear negative comments about those great benefits that an organization did, and that was annoying as hell. But having strong interpersonal skills and the ability to be good in conflict is clutch in HR. Those with strong interpersonal skills and a knack for communication often thrive in HR, where building relationships and understanding diverse perspectives is crucial. I would say if you have got your marketing team handling internal communications, you better demand and require that that marketing team has a close relationship with an HR pro, because they're speaking to the employee population. And I'm not saying that an HR pro is a marketing pro, but those roles go hand in hand. At one of the organizations, marketing had internal communications, and I kept giving feedback and kept giving feedback. And I didn't ask for it, but I ended up with that department as part of my responsibilities because culture was struggling. We'd had some major issues. And so we took internal comms inside of human resources and made a great impact in that area. HR pros often mediate and resolve conflicts, so that requires empathy and problem-solving abilities. And I would say, if you think you can be soft and sit in a room with somebody and say, you're terminated effective immediately and your desk is being cleaned out, you are sorely mistaken. If you cannot picture yourself sitting in front of an individual and, let's just be honest about it, taking away their financial livelihood, if you can't picture yourself doing that, do not get in human resources, friend. It's not the field for you. I know a lot of us get into HR because we're like, we can make this positive impact on people. You're also going to make a negative impact on people. And while I would argue all day long, because I've terminated thousands of people over the last 20 years, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands, because I've helped shut down organizations. I've done reductions in force. I've done layoffs. I've done closures. So literally thousands of people. Those people are going to look at you like you are ending their world. I've had to call 911 because I've had people tell me they're going to commit suicide. I've had filing cabinets pulled over on top of me. I've had people throw things at me, spit on me, cuss me out, call me a heartless bitch. I've had all kinds of things done. Now, at the end of the day, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, or I wouldn't have done it, that was the right thing for the person and the organization. It was just going to take them a while to see and feel that, internally and externally. But if you can't handle that level of conflict, don't get into HR. You're doing yourself and your organization a disservice. Seventh reason why you want to get involved in HR is a commitment to ethical practices. If you are a highly moral and ethical individual who likes justice, it's a great place for you because you can promote fairness and you can protect rights. HR careers attract individuals committed to promoting fairness, equality, and compliance with labor laws and ethical standards. They ensure the organization adheres to laws and regulations protecting both the company and its employees. And HR pros, you know, some days you're wearing the employer hat and some days you're wearing the employee hat, and doesn't it just rip your heart out? It just rips it in half. But you have to sit in both seats, and that means someone's almost always going to be disappointed in you, even if you're doing it to the best of your ability. But this is an important part, being committed to ethical practices. If you care deeply about that, it's a good seat for you to sit in. Eighth reason why we get involved in HR, being interested in continuous learning. There's a ton of professional development and a lot of opportunities with certification and education. The field of HR is constantly evolving. It's like technology. It requires professionals to stay up to date on the latest trends, technologies, best practices, and of course, laws that are forever changing. Many HR pros pursue certifications and advanced education, enhancing their skills and knowledge. Always be reading. I have to read all of the HR publications that come out, because when I'm talking to a client, if somebody's like, now what was that thing that was coming out with the FLSA? If I don't know about that, like, for shame, I'm not worth my money. So we always have to stay up to date. The ninth reason why we get involved in HR, we get an enjoyment out of administrative and strategic work. I am definitely a strategic thinker, but I love those details as well. So balancing those two roles is a reason why people get involved in HR. HR combines administrative tasks like record keeping, documentation, compliance, and it combines them with strategic roles like talent management and workforce planning, workload management. So that appeals to those who enjoy a balance of both. They don't want to just sit in one side or the other. They like both. 10th reason why we get involved in a career in HR, desire to work across all levels of an organization. There is a ton of cross-functional interaction. HR pros interact with employees at all levels, from entry-level staff to top levels of executives, and that provides a broad understanding of the organization. A career in HR is chosen by individuals who are passionate about people, organizational success, and continuous learning. It offers a diverse range of responsibilities, opportunities for growth, and the ability to make a significant impact on both employees and the organization. If I wasn't already in HR and I just read that, for me, I would be like, whoa, yeah, that is for me right there. You just described my ideal career. So if you're not feeling energy after you're listening to that, and you sit in an HR field and you're not feeling energy after that, brother, sister, move on. This is not the spot for you. Now, if you are a leader of an organization and you're like, oh, I need those things. I need a person who does all those things in my organization. Like, get a fractional first. Don't just go hiring a full-time HR person into this role. Get a fractional first. Start dipping your organization's toe into the water. From when I say fractional, we're looking at someone who can do this from a part-time basis, like what my company offers. But find that fractional fit first, build that foundation, then they can help you hire an HR pro to come in. But there's all differing degrees of HR pros. And you might have somebody who was a specialist in an organization before, so they really, really know, let's say, employee benefits. But when it comes to employee relations, they are struggling. Like, you need a good fractional to help you understand what it is that you need, build that foundation out, and then add an HR pro to it. Now, here is another reason why HR can be complicated sometimes. We are viewed as a cost center in an organization. Now, a cost center is a department or function that incurs expenses but does not directly generate revenue. So again, with the broad shoulders, nobody likes, I personally don't want to sit in a department that's viewed as a cost center and has no ROI on the organization. Now, I'm going to first talk about why it's a cost center. Then, of course, I'm going to talk about how it brings ROI. But HR is typically viewed as a cost center. What does this mean? When things are getting hard, it's going to get chopped. Learning and development teams are, by the data, most generally the first department that gets hacked, especially, let's back up. If there's a culture team and things like that, those are getting hacked first. Obviously, our event planners and stuff like that. Then our L&D, our learning and development teams, those are always really vulnerable when finances are getting tight. So it's already viewed as a cost center. This is a department that gets hacked when finances are tough. And as a COO, I have certainly recommended that this needs to happen. So here is why HR is typically viewed as a cost center. And I'll give you some additional context. Number one is operational costs. So there's salaries and benefits, and there's administrative expenses. HR personnel salaries, benefits, and training costs are substantial expenditures for the organization. Costs related to recruitment, onboarding, employee training and development, performance management, and benefits administration all fall under HR. Second reason why it's expensive, compliance and legal costs. There's regulatory compliance and there's legal fees. So ensuring the organization adheres to labor laws, safety regulations, and other legal requirements incurs costs. Handling employee disputes, terminations, and litigation involves high dollar legal expenses. Third reason why it's a cost center, employee services. It's a support function, and sometimes there's wellness programs as well. So providing services such as employee relations, conflict resolution, and counseling support contributes to HR costs. And then implementing and maintaining wellness programs and employee assistance programs are additional expenditures. So those are all the reasons why HR is a cost center. So let's talk about the strategic value of HR. While HR is a cost center in the traditional sense, its strategic value to the organization can indirectly contribute to revenue generation and overall business success. Here's how. First way, talent acquisition and retention. Effective recruitment and retention strategies ensure the organization has the right talent to drive performance and innovation, indirectly supporting revenue growth. Without HR, how do people get into the organization? And I guess I would argue, sure, you've got like your managers that are sometimes hiring people. If you do not have a strategic, systematic approach to recruitment, you're going to be bringing the wrong people in, and they're going to stay the wrong amount of time, either too short or too long. Okay, second way that HR has a strategic impact on value in the organization is employee engagement and productivity. If you haven't listened to the pod before, I talk a lot about how high levels of employee engagement make organizations 20 and 30% more productive and effective. So HR initiatives that boost employee engagement and productivity lead to higher efficiency, better customer service, and increased profitability. Third way we bring strategic value is learning and development, or training and development, whatever you want to call it. Investing in employee development improves skills and competencies, which can enhance organizational capabilities and competitive advantage. And we've heard a lot in my field in the last 6 months about upskilling. So if we're having a hard time recruiting, or if we're having a hard time retraining, one of the best things we can do is upskill our current employees. Without a good learning and development program, we can't really do that, can we? And we don't want to just place more responsibility on another employee to be like growing greener employees in the department, because then that employee who doesn't have a formal L&D role, learning and development role, is going to be suffering in their production. So having a formalized program and approach is clutch. Okay, fourth way we bring strategic value to the organization is risk management. No one wants to talk about this aspect, but this one is a huge one. So by ensuring compliance with labor laws and regulations, HR helps the organization avoid costly legal issues and penalties. This also means we're terminating people appropriately. We're following documentation paths for disciplinary actions. We are managing risk for the organization outside of insurance. And the fifth way that we can bring strategic value, or ROI, to the organization is culture and morale. A strong organizational culture and high employee morale fostered by human resources can lead to a positive work environment, reducing turnover and associated costs. So how can we transform HR into a more strategic partner? And I tell you what, being in HR for 20 years, I can't tell you how many times I've heard HR people say, we just want a seat at the table, or a female HR leader say, we just want to get a seat at the table. I don't feel like I've ever begged for a seat at the table, nor have those words come out of my mouth, but I can see how an HR leader who's not leading with strength and has not taken the time to develop a high level of trust in the organization, or they came into an organization with a broken HR department and then they're trying to build trust, like I can see how they're frustrated. And so how can you become a strategic partner in your organization? Organizations increasingly recognize the strategic importance of HR and its potential to add value beyond being a cost center. Now, if they don't, then you need to work on building trust in your organization first by helping lift the load. But strategies to elevate HR's role include several different things. First one, helping with data-driven decision-making. Using HR analytics to make informed decisions about talent management, workforce planning, and performance optimization is huge. If we have our information, we're mining it regularly, we're analyzing it, and we're providing it in a strategic way. And then with that data that we're supplying, we're giving insights on what we can do to improve the organization. Everyone will have more data to make good, educated decisions upon. And you're the holder of the data, HR. You've got all of this great data. And I'll do maybe a later episode on HR measures that we need to do. I provide this to my clients as kind of once we've done all of our HR foundations, which is the 13th part, the 13th part is HR metrics. I love going through that and saying like, okay, here's what we need to be measuring to make sure that your HR team is valuable. So data-driven decision-making is huge. That's how we start to become viewed as a strategic partner in an organization. Second thing that we can do, but maybe more important, is aligning HR with business goals. Ensuring our HR initiatives align with the organization's strategic objectives to directly support business outcomes. Here's a simple example. And I know I'm using the word simple, and that's probably annoying to you, but it is literally simple. Once you do it a couple of times, you'll see how simple it is. We want to take the organization's goals, and everybody talks about cascading goals, and it sounds more complicated than it really is. It's not. We want to take the organization's level goals, and we want to figure out how each VP or director can help to meet those goals from their department. And then from that VP or director's goals, then we want to provide goals for each employee to help meet those organizational goals and objectives. It just trickles down. And then from those goals, then we will put together tasks or responsibilities of how we will meet those goals on our teams, in our departments, and organization wide. That's one simple example of how to draw that in. And then we'd incorporate that into our job postings, our job descriptions, our performance reviews, our disciplinary actions, the reasons why we would terminate, because all of these things are connected together with the business goals. That's the cleanest way and quickest way to do it. And I can promise you that if you have a CEO that has goals and you help employees to know what responsibilities to execute on to help the CEO meet those goals, you're golden. You're a strategic partner. There you go. Okay, next thing that we can do to bring strategic value to an organization is get involved with technology and automation. Implementing HR tech solutions to streamline processes, reduce costs, and enhance efficiency is going to be huge in this area. We're talking HRIS systems, so human resource information systems like HR payroll technology, taking our stuff from paper into electronic, and then taking it from electronic, I would say, throw it in ChatGPT and tell me, what insights am I missing? Like, if you can't pick your data up and make determinations your own, before you're able to do that naturally, utilize AI to give you those insights, to provide those to your executive team, but use technology and automation to make this easier. Fourth way that we can transform HR into a strategic partner is by fostering innovation, encouraging a culture of innovation within HR to develop new approaches to talent management and organizational development. I've mentioned this on a previous episode. One of the funnest things that I ever did as the director of learning and development at a mortgage company was I started something called the Innovation Games. We had the Emmy Awards from it. Literally the funnest thing I think I've still done to date as an L&D leader or an HR leader. But essentially, we took cross-functional teams and we had them come to the table with ideas to improve in the organization. They pitched those ideas. We selected like 5 or 6 ideas. And then if your idea wasn't selected, then you got recruited onto a team member of a person whose idea did get selected. And then they literally built out how this would make what you would need to do and then how it would make an impact on the organization. And then we picked a top 3, but we rated them all. And number 1, any award given, then we literally sat down with executive level team members and said, we're going to put resources to this so this can get implemented. It was so fun. It was such a fun process, but it also brought innovation to the organization. If you're not innovating right inside of HR, though, no one is going to be like, yeah, you should lead the innovation games. Like, if your HR department is archaic and you're doing things in an old school way, no one's going to want to do that. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You're going to be like, well, gosh, we're a cost center, so I don't want to spend more money on an HRIS. If you show what the value is going to be on that, you're going to be so surprised. And if you're a small business and you're like, we can't afford HR payroll technology, of course, I'm going to say you can't afford not to, but you probably don't realize if you're a small organization, you can get that for $8,000 a year, $12,000 a year. Like, it's much cheaper than what you think. I'll get a bid for you. I've got 3 good strategic partners I can get bids for you from, and we can make this happen for your organization. But first, we need to make HR slick before we start trying to help innovate other departments. So while HR is traditionally considered a cost center due to its nature of incurring expenses, its strategic contributions can see a significant impact to the organization's success and profitability. By aligning HR initiatives with business goals and leveraging technology and data, organizations can transform HR into a valuable strategic partner. To be the most valuable in an organization, because that was always my goal as an individual and as our team. I'm going to give you 3 areas to focus on as an HR pro as I wrap today. Number 1, have strategic alignment and talent management. So if you want to be the most valuable HR pro, we are going to, number 1, focus on strategic alignment and talent management. This includes aligning the HR strategy with the business goals, developing and retaining top talent, and focus on performance management. What does this mean? We want to ensure that our HR initiatives and policies support the organization's strategic objectives. This includes workforce planning for the future, succession planning for the future, and aligning your recruitment strategies with the company's long-term vision. If you're an HR pro and you haven't gone to the executive levels in your organization and asked these questions, what are we doing about succession planning? And if they're like, we don't have it done, create a freaking spreadsheet. It's not that hard. Then ask for a meeting and start the conversation. It can be a complex conversation. I understand that. I've been in organizations where it's family focused and a number of other complications, but start the conversation and show some value in your organization. And then when it comes to your recruitment strategy, if you're literally just waiting till a job opens up and then you backfill the role, or if a department manager comes to you and says, I need another role, and you're just like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and I'm going to go fill that, you are not a strategic partner when it comes to a long-term vision. We need to sit down as a leadership team and say, what are the goals? Are we going to grow from a revenue perspective? Is that our goal? How are we going to get there? What are the new strategic initiatives we're going to take on? What would staffing need to look like for that? Where are areas we're going to have operational efficiency? Do we need less staffing in those areas? Can we repurpose those folks? Like, having the HR strategy and business school conversations is going to make you invaluable. We also need to implement a robust talent management program that focuses on identifying, developing, and retaining our high potential employees. This includes a couple of things: create career development plans, offer leadership training, and provide opportunities for skill enhancement. If you are hearing me say this and you're like, I'm so bogged down with the administration and the day-to-day of HR, I can't get to any of these, hire a consultant, get a strategic partner. I'm writing a book right now. When that book comes out, go buy it, whatever it is. But you can't just say, I'm so bogged down. That tells me you need technology and automation so you can get to these things that actually matter. Okay. And the third thing under strategic alignment and talent management that you need to do is performance management. Establish clear performance metrics. We were talking about aligning to those CEO goals. Establish clear performance metrics and regular review processes to ensure employees are meeting their goals and contributing to the organization's success. Use this performance data to make informed decisions about promotions, rewards, I'm talking bonuses, extra pay, and developmental needs. That's just one area. I'm going to give you 3, but that's just one area of strategic alignment and talent management of how you can be the most valuable asset in your organization. Literally, you go do that one thing, you're the most valuable person in your organization. But let's talk about the second thing. The second thing, we're getting a little bit softer here. I started out a little heavier hitting, but this one's still very valuable as well and will still reap rewards, and that's enhancing employee engagement and culture. This includes a few different things: fostering a positive work culture, implementing employee engagement initiatives, and supporting employee well-being. And before I even get into this one, if you are a little gossip, if you have work besties that you share the tea with, you suck as an HR pro. I get it. You need a place to vent. Go find a mastermind of HR people outside of your organization who are like little vaults, but you cannot be gossiping inside your organization. If you have got a peer leader in another team and you two are always like about the tea going on in your organization, or the juice, or whatever it is that you call it, you are not ever going to be able to foster a positive work culture. So check yourself before you wreck your company's culture and get yourself in the right seat to really be able to lead employee engagement and culture. Because if you're viewed as a person who's gossipy or catty, you can never lead in this area. So you got to check yourself on this. And I recommend that Those of you who are feeling like a little hooked inside right now, go to that person that you're always gossiping with and say, you know what? I have been doing some reflection, and as much as I want to vent, it's holding me back and it's holding you back. So I'm going to stop doing this. That person's probably going to respect you because of it. And if they don't respect you, they'll go find somebody else to gossip with. And then that's a person you're going to have to terminate later. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so how can we enhance the employee engagement and culture at your organization to be the most valuable HR pro ever? We're going to foster a positive work culture by promoting a work environment that values diversity, inclusivity, and collaboration across teams. Encourage open communication and recognize and reward employees' contributions to build a strong, positive organizational culture. We're going to conduct regular employee surveys when it comes to engagement and satisfaction. These are two different things. Are they satisfied with their role? Are they engaged with the organization? These are two different things. You can either do two different surveys, or you can make sure that you're asking multiple questions to hit on both levels, and use that feedback to implement initiatives that address concerns and enhance the work experience. We cannot just collect the data and do nothing with it. People will start to become deaf to our requests if we do that. So if we're going to ask them for their feedback, then we have to take their feedback. We have to be candid with what we learned. And then we have to share what it is we're going to do to address those concerns. If you're an organization who's just checking the box with employee satisfaction and engagement, just don't even do the survey. You're actually damaging your culture. And then we need to develop comprehensive wellness programs that address physical, mental, and emotional health, provide resources for stress management, work-life balance, and mental health support to improve overall employee well-being and productivity. If you're hitting on these cylinders, fostering a positive work culture, implementing employee engagement initiatives, and supporting emotional employees' well-being, you will enhance employee engagement and culture, therefore seeing higher levels of productivity. It's good. It's good. Okay, third thing we're going to do. We're going to leverage tech and data and analytics. So what do? We adopt HR technology, we use data-driven decision-making, and we have a focus on continuous improvement. This is the third way you can be the most valuable employee in general, but HR pro, by leveraging tech and data analytics. So utilize HR management systems and other tech tools to streamline HR processes, improve efficiency, and enhance data accuracy. Automation can free up HR pros to focus on the more strategic activities. So many of us get burdened with that administrative day-to-day, but then we're not being viewed as that strategic HR partner, candidly, because we're not being the strategic HR partner. So make sure that we're adopting HR tech today. Use HR analytics to gather insights on the workforce trends, employee performance, and engagement levels. So how do we use our HR analytics to gather insights on workforce trends and employee performance? We're literally just going to pull data from our HR payroll system, and it's going to make us look so much smarter than we really are. And here's the reality of it. Every department head has access to data in their area. If they just look at the data, review the data, look for the trends and insights, and then point out to others what their team's going to do to make it better, they look like a freaking genius. So if you're not doing this with your HR data, you are missing out. Why don't you go look like a freaking genius? Analyze that data to make informed decisions about talent acquisition, developmental programs, and organizational changes that may need to occur. And then lastly, we're going to regularly assess and refine our HR processes based on the data and the insights and the feedback we get from our employees. Stay up to date with industry trends and best practices to continuously improve your HR functions and contribute to organizational success. 3 ways we're going to be the most valuable HR pro ever. Have strategic alignment and talent management, enhance employee engagement and culture, and leverage tech and data analytics. Those 3 areas, and you are going to look like a bossy boss in moments by focusing on strategic alignment, enhancing employee engagement and culture, and leveraging technology and data and analytics. An HR pro can significantly increase their value within an organization and drive long-term success. I talk to people all the time that are like, why in the absolute world would you ever want to get in HR? I hate HR. That's why the slogan to my ops and HR consulting firm is, we know what you say about HR. It doesn't bother us. We're here to help. That's my slogan because I've heard it over and over and over again. And when I hear somebody say, you're not an HR person, it kind of bums me out because I want to be viewed as an ops girly because ops is viewed as not a cost center. They have a high ROI and it's viewed as a more solid skill set versus a soft skill set. So I like that, but I also feel sad for the HR pros in my life that know the value of HR, but they have not been able to articulate or show why and how HR is so very valuable to an organization. And without a good HR function, it is detrimental to an organization. And so it can be like chaos to show and prove the value of the HR function to an organization, but it is work that's so well worth it. I have personally made it my life's goal and desire. And I've loved every minute of it. I mean, have I cried tears? Have I gained 30 pounds? Have I lost 50 pounds? Have I lost sleep at night? Yes, it has been a roller coaster. And now that I'm in my 40s, I can look back and say the last 20 years have been formative years of my life. And the foundation in which I have built my professional career and my reputation and my accolades, I owe it directly to the inner workings of the HR function. It has made me have eyes wide open when it comes to business, which has made it so much easier for me to build my own business. And while business is tough and HR is tough, this is what we do, right? We find fulfillment from it. We find money from it. So then we find freedom with it. And so I'm here and I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you if you're an aspiring HR pro. I'm rooting for you if you're already in HR and you're like, gosh dang, yes, preach. This is why we're so valuable. And I'm rooting for you if you're like, maybe I need to get an HR function. Maybe I need this in my business. You do. I promise it will be so worth it. If you're an HR person, hold yourself to this level. Hold yourself to this level of strategic value in your organization. Don't get caught up in the administrative day-to-day. Don't get bogged down. And if you get burnt out, if you're sitting in a seat right now and you're so burnt out and you know you're not making an impact, move on. Move on to the next organization, get fresh breath, take your break, and then come back in with a level of passion to make an impact in the organization. And if that organization doesn't want it, find another one. This work is so worth it, friends. Till next time.